Yes, people. Welcome to Saeed TV and welcome to the debate show. We're live. We're in the building. And yeah, man, big up to everybody who's here. Statman Bays is in the building. Statman, what are you telling me?
I'm good. What are you saying?
Yeah, man, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Crazy day in football, man. Crazy day in football. You know what I'm saying? Mad results happening left, right, centre. And we got also Marcel joined us for the first time. Big up Marcel in the building. What are you telling me?
Yes, man. How you been? You right? I'm very happy today to join everyone and looking forward to talk about United, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a crazy day. Statman, the results. Yo, listen, Chelsea doing their bit. Tottenham just about. I don't know how they won against Brighton, but they did their job. Conte does their business. What are you thinking, man? Premier League table. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute, but results haven't gone our favour today. But what do you make of it?
Innit? That's life. I'll be honest. I didn't watch the Tottenham game. I was watching the Bayern game, innit? But
Yeah,
listen,
2-2.
man, I always say, as long as United do our business, like the league table will take care of it. So kind of thing, innit? You can't really rely on everyone else. Chelsea against Wolves, Wolves in the bottom three. You expect them to get a win. And then Tottenham versus Brighton, that was a tough game. And fair play to Tottenham for getting the 3 points.
Yeah. Marcel, what are you thinking, man? Obviously, the league table's shaping up, etc. But big game tomorrow, man. We've got to capitalize, man. Everyone's winning their games. We've got 2 fixtures coming up, Everton and Newcastle. But yeah, man, what are you thinking, man?
Well, they're at home in it, side, so I think that bodes well for us that they're at home. Next game's coming up for us, but this game away from home, like our away form right now hasn't been great. So I'm looking now. City look like they're gonna win all their games, or they're very consistent right now. Arsenal, I'm waiting for them to kind of choke at the minute because they look quite consistent. Spurs, they're doing all right, and I think they finished. Has their game finished now, guys?
Yeah, it's finished.
Yeah, the game's finished. So they must have played well, and I think they were leading when I was kind of finished watching them. So hoping for, I think Chelsea got Liverpool at some stage coming up. So that's kind of where like I want them to drop points there, Chelsea or Liverpool. But right now we've got a good run of fixtures. I think October's a good month for us.
It is, but I can't lie. Teams are shaping up in form. Newcastle are playing well. We've got them after that. Obviously, we should be beating teams, like Newcastle at home. But Danny, just put the Premier League table up. Obviously, teams like Chelsea, Tottenham winning. How you thinking, man? Big game tomorrow. What are you thinking about the Premier League so far and our chance for the top 4?
I think I come in at the right time. Someone we all know, I won't say who, just jumped in my DMs on Twitter talking about Chelsea are in good form. Why Ten Hag got the team playing like Potter's got Chelsea playing, etc. And when they said that to me, the first thing I thought was a post I saw in the last week or so, right? And it highlighted, who Man United have played in the top 10 versus the other teams. So we've played more teams in the top 10 than all of our so-called counterparts. You know who I'm talking about. So this is now our little run where we get to play, I don't want to say smaller teams and be condescending because we struggle against smaller teams. But these are the games now where there's no excuses for the players. You've got a favourable run of fixtures. I think that little cancellation of fixtures in the international break messed up our rhythm a little bit. The City game was bad timing after that situation for this team. For these weak players who need weekly therapy sessions to get themselves up for games, it was just bad timing. But now you've got to run. Thursday, Sunday. Go on a run. We need to challenge these boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's going to be teething issues, but let's see what you can do in it. I think Everton will be a good test tomorrow.
Big up to Faz is in the building. Welcome, Faz. How are you? All right, bro?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. All good, man. Big up Zayn Bias.
How you doing? How's everyone doing, man?
Yeah, man. We're all good, man. We're just starting the show now. We're just talking about our top 4 chances after seeing the results today. Obviously, Zayn Bias has come in and said, Arsenal not choking. We'll be back top of the league when we win tomorrow. We'll see, man. We'll see. Don't speak too soon, Zayn Bias. But what do you reckon, man? I put the Chelsea won today, Tottenham won today. How are you thinking about this top 4 chances now? We've got Everton, Newcastle coming up. Chelsea, Tottenham. What do you reckon?
We gotta stay right in there with them, bro. I'm telling you. We gotta stay right in there. And we gotta be winning games convincingly as well at this point. I see we winning games by 1 goal here, 1 goal there. whatever. But now we need to really start establishing ourselves if we're gonna be coming top 4. Because the way I saw the Chelsea game today, for example, I saw the Chelsea game, I saw the Spurs game. I didn't even bother looking at Skynet's game, bro. I'm not even gonna bother looking at them, man. But if we're gonna be in top 4 with these guys, bro, I'm telling you, tomorrow we need to figure out how to stop Iwobi, how to stop Onana. If we can't get these type of answers, then there's no point. I swear, then there's no point. Might as well scrap it. Brentford got points from us. Brighton got points from us. If Everton collect points from us, or even they get 1 point, or we can't get the 3 points. Nah, I'm not even happy with the draw. I need a win. If we're gonna be going up to leading to the World Cup, we got 1 game every 3 days or 4 days. We need points, bro. I'm telling you. We got Isaac to face next. We got Pulisic after. We got Heung-min Son and Harry No Sugar Kane after that. We got Pulisic and Havertz. Did you see the ball that Havertz made to Pulisic today?
Yeah.
Imagine
man.
Bruno Fernandes tried to make that same pass. He would have ended up with you at third tier on.
I'm not having that. Bruno's did that pass 20 times more than Havertz. I'm not having
No. I am having it. I'm gonna run that narrative.
Havertz has been garbage for Chelsea for 12 months. I'm not throwing Man United players under the bus for Havertz. Not for Kai Havertz.
And Graham Potter is finding ways to break teams down, and we need to be doing that. I'm telling you. We need to be doing that if we're going to be going up, and the points will only keep getting like this, and we'll keep going behind and behind. We need a win tomorrow, 100%.
How are you feeling against the game tomorrow, Statman? What's your feelings about tomorrow? Can we go there, silence the crowd? Can we get a performance tomorrow? What's your overall feeling tomorrow going into the game?
I think it's going to be a grind. I think Everton have conceded the least amount of goals in the Premier League. I think they're unbeaten in the last 7. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. The midfield 3. So nicely balanced in terms of Iwobi, Onana, Idrissa Gana Gay. I think this is going to be tougher than a lot of people think. Like, if we walk out tomorrow with a draw, I would not be surprised at all. Because let's be honest, when they play Liverpool, they competed very, very well. The last couple of games, I think they got 2 wins. And I think against Southampton, they came back after going a goal down very quickly, which is impressive. Yeah. And listen, like, fair play to Lampard. I criticize him quite a lot. But defensively, I've been surprised. I've been very, very positively surprised by Everton this season. And it's a different sort of test from what United are used to. Like, it's going to be a team sitting back. How do we cope? How do we break them down? I'm actually I'm excited, even though I know it's going to be a tough game.
You know what? It's true, and that's the thing, Marcel. Just Ten Hag's obviously trying to get the balance right. It's one of them right now. We're playing in certain flashes. We're doing certain things right in certain moments, but overall the performances aren't quite there. Where are you in terms of tomorrow and the game plan tomorrow? Is it just a case of going there and getting the wins by all means necessary? Is that your mindset? Just go in there, get the 3 points, and get out.
Yeah, I don't think we carry out game plans quite well right now, especially away from home. So it's just about getting the win. I think we're going to win, though. I wouldn't be so negative. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, the last time we went to Everton's ground, it was a 1-1 scrappy game, but we just didn't have any style of play, any kind of patterns of play. I think we've got in the front line, especially patterns of play, and especially if he plays Martial, I think he's got a goal in him. Maybe not Sancho as of late, but Rashford off that left, there's goals there. So I think we'll score for sure, and we should come away with a victory. I believe in this squad. It's just Ten Hag usually, it's off the bench that he is where the goal creation usually comes from these days. It's like the starting 11, they capitulate, they crumble, and then he has to bring on players that can change the game. So we'll see what happens.
What's your feeling, Danny, going into tomorrow with Everton? Bit of recent form going in there. They'll try and be very, very defensive and then try break out with Iwobi and Gordon. Got a few ball carriers in there. So we have to be disciplined. We have to keep the ball well, especially at this stadium here, because they have a lot of ball carriers and people are not talking about that.
I was having this conversation in the space earlier with Marcel. That's the biggest concern for me. Yeah. When we lose the football, people don't like to talk about it. I get it. New faces. We don't want to get on the new players like we did the old players. Eriksen in transition is terrible. Terrible. I've seen him treading water on counter-attacks and getting away with it. We're so open through the middle when we lose the football. And like you said, they've got multiple ball carriers. Multiple. Guys who can start and guys coming off the bench. Like, think about how many times you've seen Decore rip through us. Decore. Just because he can carry a ball because we don't defend well in transition. And that's what worries me about this team, is how we defend. If the players have a confident moment, because I know the coach is actually drilling them and has good ideas that are going to hurt the opposition. When we put it together for a moment, we score good quality goals. As bad as disappointed we are with the start of the season, if you look at the goals that we've scored, the patterns of play, the principles behind them are clear. You can go and get the Ajax playbook from 18, 19, 21, 22 and put them for the goals that we scored this season. So I'm not concerned about that. If the players have a confident moment, I know we can score goals. It's when we don't have the football or when we lose the football, that's what worries. That's why I don't trust this team at all. And Everton, like you said, as soon as you said ball carriers, you see me. That's the nightmare in my head. We lose the
And
ball.
we don't have any.
Torre,
We don't have any.
Gordon, Onana running through the middle.
Mm.
We get done on the counter. That's the concern.
And this is about the balance, in it for me. You know what I mean? I'm going to start with you, Faz. We have to get the balance right. Anybody in this team that for you is disrupting that balance? Because obviously Danny talked about there not giving the ball away because then they've got good, very, very good ball carriers. Does Erik ten Hag know the best team, or is he just trying to work certain situations out, trying to find out which is the method right now? What's the balance for you in this team?
I think you know what, you've asked the perfect question, because that's probably what Ten Hag is going through with Van der Gaag and thinking, what is my balance? Because I want to rely on Bruno, I want to rely on the Eriksen, but then McTominay is giving me a poor performance. Do I bring in Casemiro, who gave away the ball 3 times against Sheriff? Who can I have faith in? Who's the player or the 2-3 players that have my faith in midfield? Fred's barely played any minutes. On top of that, Lampard's had this crazy scientific prodigy in Iwobi. I don't know what he's done. Turned this guy into a freaking midfield maestro, whipping balls in from deep, running in, creating headaches for freaking midfielders and defenders. It's going to be a hard game. And he's going to have to figure it out. In all honesty, if you ask me, I would have played Casemiro, Fred, and an Eriksen in there. But it's highly unlikely, but that's just, my personal take. I think we need legs in that midfield. I think we need some physicality in that midfield. We definitely need to control the game as per our tempo and not Everton's tempo, because if we try and match them, we're done. And with David De Gea, just to sidetrack a little bit, if David De Gea don't come out of his line like he normally doesn't, we're even more in trouble, because Mbappe is annoying and he will stay consistently like buzzing around in that box and giving you headaches when them balls are getting whipped in, when they've got runners in behind and the balls are coming in. We're going to be in trouble. Big trouble. And with Bruno, I said this yesterday, speaking to someone. I said, Bruno's like music playing at full volume. Sometimes it hurts your brain. Just lower down the volume a little bit. Just turn it down just slightly. Let him calm down a little bit. He's like a child who's got ADHD. You can't ask him to sit somewhere for 5 minutes. The guy's like, no, I'm not sitting. He's just, and I get it. I love it. I enjoy it, but just needs to tone it down. And I think this is the perfect game for Ten Hag to go and say, you know what? Right then, let's play the experienced Casemiro. Let's see what you can do. Let's play the Fred, who run around constantly, and let's play that Eriksen, who can bring those passes. And I understand people saying Bruno gives away the ball same as, Eriksen gives away the ball same as Bruno. Eriksen in defending is not good, blah blah blah. But when has this guy ever been a 6? Really, let's be real. He's not really a 6. Eriksen is not really a reliable 6. Play him in a.
But is that only creative from deep? Faz, it's the only creative outlet from deep, and that's why Ten Hag is deploying him.
He's doing the dog work, isn't he?
Yeah. Statman, do you reckon Ten Hag knows? Has he got a mismatch of player profiles in his team? Is he starting to understand that in terms of maybe Eriksen and Bruno, whether they can play together? Let's say Sancho and Bruno, or has he got a mismatch in player profiles, and now he's trying to say, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing boards. And then obviously that's why the title of the video is what is Man United's best Excel. Do you reckon he's starting to understand that he's got a mismatch in profiles?
But I think everyone knew that. Let's be honest, it comes down to our recruitment. We haven't recruited players that fit one style of play for the last couple of years, kind of thing. It's just been a mismatch in terms of
years.
Yeah. But like the last couple in terms of Ollie's football, Van Gaal's football, Jose's football, which is completely different. So of course he's gonna have a mismatch of profiles, but this one is we all knew that. Ten Hag should have known that coming into the job. And I'll be honest, I think it's understandable that Ten Hag doesn't know his best 11. It's going to take him time.
But then, fear is for me is that he might just go for what works best for now. And then obviously in that period, you then are liable to certain performances that might shock you, if you know what I mean. That's
Yeah, but-
that's my own fear. If you do that, then you might say, you know what, McTominay and this works for me for 3 games, and all of a sudden he came out with that statement. We didn't get beat. I get that, but then that's again short-term thinking, because when you go into a game and the opposition is clearly better than you in quality-wise, then you start to realize people's shortcomings and McTominay, certain other players. You know, it's just that's my own feeling. That's why I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but again, he needs to find a balance. He needs to.
Yeah, I know, but that will eventually come with more time he has with these players, more times he sees. He's like people laugh at Ten Hag for playing McTominay. Let's be honest, before the Man City game, he had like 4 good games in a row. What do people want Ten Hag to do? We've asked for a manager to play players of merit for how many years now? Ten Hag did that with McTominay instead of starting Casemiro over it, and people are now complaining. Now maybe McTominay's had a bad game. Now it's up to Ten Hag. Does he bring in Casemiro? But like, it's understandable why Ten Hag hasn't made that change, for example. Even for example, like the Rashford one, like people complaining Ronaldo didn't start against Manchester City. It was understandable. Rashford literally won Player of the Month. He was having a good run of form. Ronaldo was underperforming. He played Rashford instead. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why people just need to relax with Ten Hag sometimes, isn't it?
Dern says here, big up to you for the super chat. Bruno needs some time on the bench. The team looked more secure in possession when he came off. Good possession is good defense. Marcel, you agree with that one in terms of the Bruno? I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. Give me a reason why Bruno Fernandes shouldn't be dropped for the game against Everton.
I wouldn't be surprised, Saeed, if he has one of his better games right now or tomorrow against Everton. I just don't. I can just see us having a dogfight match. Their fans are going to be up for this game, and they're just going to make it very uncomfortable for us to play. We're not going to be able to play that sexy, elegant football that Eriksen's part of. That build-up that we're talking about, I just don't think it's going to be there. It's going to be quite even, ebb and flow. There's going to be periods where we're going to dominate, and we're going to need someone to execute in that final third for us. That's Bruno Fernandes. For long periods of the game, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to control this game. Right now, that midfield, Eriksen's just not good enough for me right now in terms of tracking players. We're talking about ball carriers. He just doesn't have that defensive acumen. It's going to.
You know what? I don't understand this, because you know what it is for me. I think Eriksen, you see it in the game against okay, it's not the greatest of examples, but I thought we played a little bit better with a bit more control. I think it's the opposite way around. You play Eriksen and you get a better Eriksen further forward, and then you drop Bruno Fernandes. One or the other has to give. That's my own opinion. You can do it in certain games where you're dominating the game or whatnot, but I still think for me, I'd rather have Eriksen in there because I think he's a better creative midfielder than Bruno Fernandes. That's my opinion.
No, I agree with what you're saying, Said. But you're just going to have, especially for tomorrow's game, you're just going to have the likes of the Corey, all of them just running past Eriksen in the 10 space. But basically, they're just going to be open in the 10. And sometimes Bruno's the reason of that because he's always going up past the striker to press. So he has his own faults. But if we're going to be quite protective and quite reserved, pragmatic, if you will, then I think you've got to have Bruno in there with 2 DMs. I'm even thinking Scott and Casemiro. I just wouldn't put Eriksen in this game or put him in when the opponents are a bit tired, they're a bit more, fatigued, and he can start threading the ball through the thirds. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
What you, Daddy? You're smiling there.
I'm laughing
you lose
because
a lot.
The Bruno agenda makes me laugh. I love.
No, it's not Bruno agenda.
No, not you side, not you side.
I
mean, the topic has come up because the worst of Bruno, popped up against City, and then what our fan base do is they will run that any way they need to in the following game, Eriksen was just as bad against Manchester City. I think Sancho was worse than both of them, to be honest with you. But look, I agree with what Faz was saying, and we're speaking about this earlier today. If I would prefer, if it was Football Manager, FIFA, or Jose in charge, another coach, they would want a Casemiro, a McTominay, or Fred than an Eriksen / Bruno. Yeah, everybody understands on paper that is balance, but Ten Hag doesn't respect football on paper. Saeed, remember that stream we did a few months ago when I told you you're going to see the right back in a second striker role? Remember, there's a reason why I did that, Saeed. It's because I know this coach, you don't respect formations. And like we can defend Eriksen and say he's not a 6, but that's how Ten Hag's playing him. I want what you guys want, but Ten Hag, he wants something different. So tomorrow, you're probably going to see Eriksen doing what he's been doing all season. In that deep role, getting it off the back foot. And this is where Ten Hag for me needs to decide. he's running 18, 19 Ajax tactics with what he's doing with Eriksen. If you know that team, the young lads have shown him how they operated. That's how he's running things there. But if you're watching the Europa League, Saeed, we're running it a bit more like the 21-22 team. You see Martinez threading them those passes.
I see that.
If you notice, you've seen Martinez doing that more in the Europa League matches because they're weaker teams and we have more of the ball.
Of course.
So in the Premier League games. So it's a catch-22. I would love it tomorrow if I saw a balanced midfield, Casemiro. I don't care. Fred McTominay, I don't care. Fred's been trashed this season, by the way. Tomorrow could be a game for him. It's a flip of a coin, if I'm being, it's 50-50. Eriksen and Bruno. I actually don't care which. For me, Eriksen and Bruno are the same player to me. One's just a bit prettier and a bit more composed in Eriksen. But they both give the ball away. They both do rash things. They both launch it and want to be direct. Eriksen's just a little bit more secure. But I think Bruno is a bit more, I think he can have a bigger impact if he's on more so than Eriksen. And again, flip of a coin. I don't really care. But I say all of that to say, you're going to see Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno as the midfield three tomorrow, despite what we want, because Ten Hag's the coach, isn't it? Not us.
Guys, there's over 400 people in the chat, man. Make sure you hit the like button of the video. We're not even on 100 likes, man. So let's get them likes up, people. Everyone watching, make sure you support the channel. Faz, what do you reckon? I seen you shaking your head there. It's one of them, man. With me, I think Eriksen, gives me more than what Bruno does. I think he can drop into that midfield where we can make it a free a lot better than what Bruno Fernandes gives you. I think he lacks discipline. I think he tries to wander forward. I think he's more of a final third player. You know what I mean? That's just my own opinion. But Faz, where are you in terms of Eriksen and the Bruno dynamic? Can it work together? Does Ten Hag keep persisting with it? I still think he'll persist with it and play the McTominay, Eriksen, and Bruno tomorrow. That's what I think he'll go with. You know what I mean? I genuinely do. He's a stubborn manager. For you know, people have told me like he doesn't really like to tinker it around. So, you know, what were you thinking tomorrow in terms of Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen?
Look, Eriksen and Bruno work because we've won games with them. You can't tell me like they don't work. They work. We've seen it work. We've seen them play decent football where we've gone and won games. The question now comes to is consistently how can they perform together? Who will do, I like to call it the dog work, the dirty work? Who's going to collect the trash? Who's going to collect the yellow cards? It's going to have to be McTominay. If McTominay plays there, McTominay's been I've been calling him our binman with the high vis because he just goes around carrying the yellow cards. That's what he does for us. Is Casemiro going to do that tomorrow if he plays? I hope so, but someone needs to do it. It's just I hope Bruno can help out Eriksen and Eriksen can help out Bruno. I don't want Bruno to leave Eriksen hanging, and I don't want Eriksen to be trying to be the hero at times as well. It's just they both. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Bruno tries to be a hero, Eriksen tries to be a hero. I feel like they both can play together, but it's just I'm more leaning towards Bruno needing to be a bit more disciplined. He needs to be that leader. He needs to understand that I can't just go around roaming around on the pitch. I can't just go around trying to press myself when other people are not pressing with me. He can't be doing that. He needs to be disciplined, stick to his position, come in and help Eriksen out a bit, and then we'll be much better. I think that we will be much better. But if you ask me, I can see Ten Hag playing McTominay, Bruno, and Eriksen because he said it in the press conference. Is it 2-3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken? He said after the City game, he said we will stick to our principles. I am not changing my principles. It doesn't matter what it is, we're sticking to it. And if it's worked for him before, it is what it is, right? He's going to stick to it. But I have a high percentage of feeling that he benches anyone but McTominay. He benches McTominay. He has to. It is time now to give Casemiro the minute. It is absolutely crucial time now. Casemiro needs to prove himself into Manchester United. He needs to. There's been question marks raised. People have asked the question, is that a £70 million, £60 million mistake? This is the perfect time. He can show that he is deserving to start over McTominay and his levels above. And he can do that in this game. If Ten Hag doesn't give him the minutes now, I don't know when he will. It doesn't make sense.
You know, Statman, Faz makes a good point about Eriksen and Bruno can work, but it's what's behind them. I think, like, if you put Casemiro in there, you just know you're going to get a bit more well-rounded, well-polished midfield, but it's going to be McTominay, and then obviously he's not a natural CDM, and you almost can't really call out McTominay anymore because at the end of the day, the manager's picking him. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them, like, he's playing, but he's only playing because the manager's chosen him, and obviously, you know what I mean. He's the one that's being favoured. Why is McTominay right now? If this Everton game Casemiro doesn't play, is that where you're thinking? Okay, then that means he prefers McTominay right now.
I don't think it does. The only reason I say that, let's be honest, Casemiro. I wouldn't say Casemiro's really impressed me so far. I thought the other day, I thought the first half he weren't great. I thought the second half he grew into the game. Second half he looked a bit better. Let's be honest, before when we've seen him in the Europa League, he hasn't looked really good. He looked a bit off the pace against Real Sociedad, for example, but that's understandable. First couple games. I don't think it means McTominay's first choice. Like for the foreseeable future kind of thing. It's understandable why McTominay's playing. Like I said it before, McTominay's played well. Whether people like it or not, before the City game, he's played well. For example, even the Liverpool game, Ten Hag singled out McTominay. He weren't even asked about McTominay, but he came out and talked about McTominay because he liked his performances. If Ten Hag is clearly picking McTominay, there must be something he likes, whether we like it or not.
No, but the thing is, why I'm saying that is now we need to find balance. And, you know what I mean? Now, for me, if you want to play certain plays...
The balance is just not just going to come when you bring in Casemiro. Like,
no, but
you bring in Casemiro doesn't help but you bring in Casemiro doesn't help Bruno dropping back. That's up to Bruno. That's not on Casemiro / McTominay.
No, but I understand that. But then also, you then kind of can compensate Bruno then going forward because you know you've got reassurance in that Casemiro is that lone six, and you know what I mean. Like you've got cover. That there's you've got cover though.
Are you saying Bruno without Eriksen or Eriksen and Bruno?
No, both of them. You can allow both.
That's why I think Statman's saying. Just because you've got a DM, the way Ten Hag set up, teams don't just rely on a DM no more. It's team defending. It's team defending.
No, I get that.
Casemiro and teams can affect you off the ball. So Casemiro can be occupied by run off the ball, and Bruno ahead of it. All he has to do is block a passing lane, and we all watch Bruno. Bruno just opens the passing lane up.
But someone
I love Bruno, but without the football, he will. I've seen Bruno point to people behind him, move to the left, and the ball just goes past him, and the DM somewhere else. So that's what I think Statman's referring to.
Let me ask you a question though. But someone has said it. But what's it called? McTominay will always have his limitations. How are we going to get Casemiro up to speed if we can't deploy him? You know what I mean? That's my only question. Is that there's always going to be damage limitations to McTominay in terms of that role when it's not suited to it, and that's why you have Casemiro build his game up. That's what all I would say. But again,
I hear that. Managers also needs to think about getting results as well, and who's the best man for the pit on the day. Casemiro's getting minutes in the Europa League. He's getting 20, 30 minutes coming on in the Premier League. He will eventually be able to match pace. But if Ten Hag thinks McTominay is the best to get the result in the Premier League game, which is more important, he's going to pick McTominay, and I have no problem with that.
Don Brito says, guys, we need a pure striker. Thoughts? Cristiano Ronaldo is done.
Just say it quickly as well. Just very quickly as well. People mistake that McTominay can't carry the ball. He can. He just does. He overdoes it. You see him carry the ball, but you see him overdoing it by 3 or 4 steps, by a couple of yards extra. But
that means he's not a really good ball carrier.
But do you know why he overdoes that?
He's not the best. No, I'm not saying he's the best, but he does do it. He just needs to tune. That's another thing of his that he needs to tune it in. And I won't, like I said, I won't be. I agree with Baines. I won't be surprised if Ten Hag is asking McTominay to do that job, but just tweak it down and level it down a little bit more. He does carry the ball. You have seen him do it. You can't sit here. Nobody can sit here and tell me you haven't seen him do it. He does do it, but he overdoes it. And that's the thing that he needs to tweak and lower down and just calm down a bit, release the ball early, and maybe you might see a different McTominay.
It's a fundamental technical problem though, Faz. He holds on to it for 3 to 4 touches because he can't get the ball from out. The ball gets caught under his feet. And you always see McTominay, those last 2 or 3 touches where he's taking too long, he's always trying to get the ball out of his feet so he can release it for a pass. That's just a fundamental issue. I'm not mad at him for it. Like, he is who he is as a player, innit? I can't be mad at him because he's not David Silva. You're born with what you're born with. But I do agree with you. Like, in transition, McTominay actually 2021 season, along with Fred, actually, if I'm being fair to Fred, they were both good at that because they got space. I just don't think we're going to have that space tomorrow. That's the only issue.
What do you want to see, Marcel? What do you want to see in this game in terms of midfield balance for you? Like, what's your idea of this midfield? Do you want Casemiro just for the sake of it, or are you happy for us to kind of, work on this McTominay situation with the likes of Bruno and Eriksen, carry that on. You know what I mean? What were you thinking?
The best balance, mate. That's the best balance. I honestly don't think this is a Ten Hag signing, Casemiro. I don't even think you can play lone six in the Prem. I'll be so honest with you guys. I don't think you can play lone
you think
six.
is that early judgment? You don't think that's an early judgment?
It is an early judgment, but from what I'm seeing, he's very rash in there. I don't think he has the pace. I'm seeing, he's committing to challenges way too early. I don't know if he can play that lone six. Who's been doing it? Like we've had Fred there, can't do it. We've had even Eriksen looked a bit shaky there. There's no one that can do it. That's why we're playing this kind of 6 plus our 8/6. Eriksen has to kind of help out a little bit with the last man in the midfield line. So we don't have anyone that is a maverick lone six or that can help with the build up and sniff out danger. We don't have that. We don't have it right now. So that's why the balance looks right or looks okay with Eriksen and Scott with Bruno in there. He has to have it like that. If he wants to shore up that midfield and make sure that it's completely locked off, then you put Casemiro, Scott in there. But I just don't see any other balance to this, especially against this Everton midfield. They have ball carriers and people just going to be breezing past midfielders. And Scott's had 4 good games, guys. Why are we so upset until Scott plays a complete stinker? He's got to start for us. I don't see any other way around this, guys.
That's your argument. Unless Scott McTominay has a stinker, Casemiro stays on the bench. I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy.
Marcel wants us to drop 6 points, not even 3.
That's 6 points. Thank you.
And then he's gonna be convinced. Now, man, this is what we did with Ole, man. This type of patience we don't need. We need to identify problems before you get ill. You want to go and make sure you take your tablets, you have your minerals, water, and everything. Marcel wants to be sick, ill, down, and then make the freaking call to his GP. Now, man, make the subs now. No.
I can't believe, listen, Casemiro's it's Casemiro, man. I get it. He needs to get up to speed. He's new to the league, but this is Casemiro we're talking about. McTominay is not He's not better than Casemiro in any way, shape, or form at anything of football, in my opinion. When he gets up to speed, and he will get up to speed, he will bench him, in my opinion. That would be my prediction for the season. And I think the game against Everton, throw him into the fight. It's Man United, man. Sink or swim.
What I mean, yo.
Sink or swim. And by the way, Ten Hag has been spotting these trends. I'm sure you're going to get to it, Saeed, but I'm pretty sure Luke Shaw's going to be in there over Malacia.
You know what? I've been thinking about this, Malacia stays players.
It's like what Faz was saying. It's obvious McTominay is going to have a drop off rather than drop 3 points or 6 points or 9 points. Yeah, it's like in the morning you get a tickle in your throat, you ignore it. By the end of the day, you got that tickly cough when you knew you should have got that limsip at lunchtime. Should have went out, got the limsip then. It would have been a lot worse in the evening. And I see Ten Hag doing that, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to wait around, let players have 3-4 bad games in a row and just keep him in the team, unless it's an attacking player. He seems a bit more, they get a little bit more leeway. But even then, you saw how quickly he took off Sancho. Just saying. I'm not, Listen,
you know what? We got a lot of
tomorrow, Saeed. I swear, if he's not starting tomorrow, man. Casemiro's starting.
All right, cool. We've let the Casemiro situation.
I hope he's not, guys. I honestly hope he's not. We've got
Why hope?
And Marcel, we don't play with a lone six either. We don't play with the lone six.
Yeah, we've never done it since probably.
I think we was talking. I think Saeed was mentioning it before, just in terms of Casemiro can help, shuffle out danger, and he would be like, you can put Bruno and Eriksen higher up, which effectively would have Casemiro as a lone six in transition, for example.
But have you not noticed that Ten Hag changes instructions based on who's playing? So if you've noticed, when the Casemiro plays, Casemiro drops between the two centre-backs. You don't see Scott McTominay doing that. Yeah. So the issues you've been observing with the team when McTominay's there, there'll be maybe different problems or different solutions when Casemiro's in there because the instructions are different. And if he's changing Casemiro's role, it's a domino effect the other way up the pitch as well, because that affects what Eriksen's doing. That affects what Bruno's doing. It affects what he might do with Dalot, as an example. I think you might see, if you've noticed, I know we're going to get to Malacia Saeed. In fact, we'll get to that, but you'll see Shaw's instructions are going to be different to Malacia. But we've seen that already whenever Shaw plays. They don't do the same role when they play.
I know, it's pissing me off, I'm baffled why they don't do the same role. And people are not telling me that they've watched Malacia before, because against Feyenoord in that final, in the Conference League final, he was up and down. So I don't know, man. Let me just read the super chat here. Lewis says Casemiro allows our midfield to move up the pitch. Yes, I think he does. And obviously, he's a confident number 6. Let's start off with you. But you said, obviously, we spoke in the week. You said Shaw over Malacia. For me, Shaw's been there 8 years. I've seen this before. He performs when he's got competition rather than within himself. I think for me, as a player, I want you to perform regardless if there's competition or not. Malacia's had, let's say, 2 bad games, you know what I mean, in the derby and then obviously this Europa League where he made that crucial mistake. You still keen on bringing Shaw back in for this game?
100%. I think, I'll be honest, I think it's been more than 2 bad games from Malacia. Like, in my personal opinion, he weren't great against Southampton offensively, helping at Sancho. He weren't great for the first 60 minutes against Arsenal. Saka had the better of him. And listen, like, let's be honest. Like, I know people are going to say 8 years or sure, but you can only judge what Ten Hag has in the squad right now. And I think Luke Shaw is more suited for that Everton game than Malacia. Like, we need more going forward. Shaw's a better ball carrier. Shaw's a better, like, on the ball is technically more secure. And I personally would play Rashford on the left. I'm dropping Sancho. And we know Rashford and Shaw normally have a good connection. So I don't think there's anything wrong with playing Luke Shaw kind of thing.
The culture comes is in the building. Luke Shaw, he says, United fans will never learn. Psycho repeating himself. I did say it, man. Marcel, Brandon Williams, Ashley
Is Malacia going to play 20 games in a row? Is that what people are expecting?
And you know what?
No, but I think it's more point.
Malacia is 22, 23 coming into a new country.
Like, I don't understand that. It's just common sense, though. Like, if you didn't see that Malacia mistake coming from the Europa League game, you weren't paying attention to his performances. Like, he's a young boy. He's got flaws in his game. And a bad performance was always around the corner. You know what a good manager does when a 22-year-old's it's clearly might go on a bad run of form. You take him out the team. No one's saying you put Luke Shaw in.
The consensus is though from the fan base.
No, but I'm not saying
Malacia is not that good.
But we're not saying put Shaw in and Shaw starts the next 20 matches. It's based on form. There's no set starting 11.
No, not form.
It's not like that. It has to be based on form in certain positions, and the left back position is one of them. It's one of them.
But I don't think the idea is that though form. That's why you're wrong, I think, Danny, because Shaw hasn't had form. Even in that game, he was okay. But I feel like this is the case.
I'm not saying Shaw's had form. I'm saying Malacia's form's clearly about to dip. I think that trend is coming. So you take him out the team, you put a more experienced player in, and guess what? 3 or 4 games from now, when Shaw form's dip, you put Malacia back in. That's the way this is supposed to work. This ain't a Luke Shaw is back, Luke Shaw FC, Luke Shaw's going to play 30 games in a row, be Shaw Berto. That's not, nobody's saying that. It's just for this game, and by the way, we're going to have more of the ball. And I've noticed, when Ten Hag plays Shaw, he trusts him to do the build-up play. When he plays Malacia, he keeps Malacia higher up the pitch, probably because he knows Malacia can recover and Luke Shaw can't. So
this is it. What would you rather have? Let me start with you, Marcel. You've got the attacking ability of Luke Shaw, but I think you've got a more polished game in Malacia, recovery, defensively, awareness, playing that inverted fullback role better. I think in possession, Malacia is underrated. He keeps possession well. He keeps it tidy. He can play in between the lines. I've seen it. Now, people might be saying, "Well, what have you seen?" I haven't seen it. You know, what I mean? Where are you on the Malacia and Shaw debate, as we call it? Because a lot of people are saying, you know what I mean? Nah, Malacia ain't it. That's the consensus I'm hearing from the fan base. Nah, Malacia ain't it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. He's just come into the league. He's gone way above expectations. And that's why I think he's at fault for his own good form currently. He's had a few good games. No one was expecting him to come in and hit the ground running as well as he did, I think. You know, he had Salah in pocket completely. He done very well against Salah. So, I don't know. I think it's a thing where Luke Shaw has to come in now. You know, he's had 2 bad games and he's a young player. He's not going to be brilliant the whole season. It's his first season in the Premier League. 3 games. I think we've got 9 fixtures this month alone, say. 9 fixtures. You know, he needs to rotate and Shaw, we know that Shaw starts to perform once there's competition. So this is maybe a good moment. We've got 3 home games coming up as well. So just see how each player performs and let them fight for the position. I think it's a bad thing if Malacia at 22 thinks he's an odds-on starter. Still make sure he's hungry. Still make sure that he's fighting for the position. And he's playing well. He'll end up being the left back for the side. And Shaw most probably move on. He needs to. But right now, I think this is a moment for Shaw to show and perform for us.
Yeah, man. Big up to everybody that's still watching the video. Make sure you guys are still liking the video. Big up to everybody who's here.
I got a question for Marcel.
Yeah.
Marcel.
Yeah.
Has Malacia had a stinker yet?
He had a okay performance against Saka. I think he's had a few bad performances the last 2 games. They haven't been brilliant. The first half and not yesterday's game, but the game before. He's had a few bad games. I wouldn't say complete.
Has he had a stinker yet?
No.
Because you said unless McTominay has a stinker, keep him in there. Has Malacia had a stinker?
No, but it's a different.
Well, there you have it then.
No, it's a different part of the pitch. It requires different things. They're
so
in
different parts of the pitch, you can have a stinker, and different parts you can't.
Yeah, to a degree, yes.
Marcel, don't make me Marcel.
To a degree,
Marcel,
yes.
Don't do this to yourself, Marcel.
No, I'm not doing anything to myself. I'm being very honest.
Can I ask you a question, Faz? What does Malacia doesn't do that Shaw does do well? Why are their roles too different? Because Malacia is playing this inverted fullback role. He's not really bombing on forward as much as we see it. Why is it that, you know what I mean? Can you explain it before I get to everyone else?
Look, Malacia and Luke Shaw are 2 different type of fullbacks. Let's get this out the way first. I don't know why people expect one to replace the other and be a like-for-like replacement. They're never going to be a like-for-like replacement. Luke Shaw's, I like to call it players' bread and butter. Luke Shaw's bread and butter was really made off Roberto Carlos season when the guy was overlapping, when the guy was whipping the balls in, perfect balls in the box. That's what he was doing. We've not seen that from Malacia. What we know from Malacia is his recovery is tremendous. His physicality is tremendous. His tackling is on point. Him reading forwards, runs, and predicting where they're going to go, when they're going to go, making those tackles, perfect. Luke Shaw has never done that and will never do that. Whether you say his freaking diet, this, that, I don't care what you want to put it. They're 2 different players, and it's a good headache for Ten Hag. Let's iron this out as well. To have 2 different types of fullbacks is actually a good headache because in certain games he can play a certain fullback like a Shaw. In certain games he can play a Malacia. Don't also forget Malacia played numerous different positions when we played against Sheriff. Ten Hag was toying about with Malacia, asking him to do a CDM, asking him to do this side, asking him to do right back. He was having him everywhere. You will never see that from Luke Shaw, ever. So please just identify the 2 different players. In this particular game, I would start Shaw, and it's absolutely not based on Shaw's qualities. Absolutely not. It is simply because my boy Tyrell Malacia needs rest. He is a human being. The kid has played every single minute you could possibly think of since he joined Manchester United, and he needs a rest, man. Just give him some rest. That's the only reason why I'm playing Luke Shaw. I would even bring Malacia on at halftime because I don't trust Luke Shaw at all. At all. I won't be surprised if Luke Shaw starts and we get in the transition, we get mashed up because he can't recover quick enough. I won't be surprised. So I would play Luke Shaw, get a goal in the first half, secure ourselves, and then bring on Malacia, end the game off, in the last 30 minutes, 20 minutes of the game. But that's how I would do it. I'm not bringing on Luke Shaw based on his abilities to bench Malacia at all.
Right, let's move on to the forward line. Is anyone here that wants Sancho to start? If that might be the easier question.
No.
Yeah, I want Sancho to start.
Okay,
man, get out of here.
I want him to start.
Go on then, Danny. You started. You go.
What? Why shouldn't he start? What's the issue?
I can't tell if this guy's serious.
Why shouldn't he start? Do you know what it is? So, I'd be cautious with Marcia. I think people are getting a bit too giddy. They've seen Marcia come off the bench, obviously do a little something on Thursday as well. Then it's like getting back it. Like, no, has he not been injured twice this season already? Twice, right? He was fit, got injured, came back. So he's been injured twice already this season. I wouldn't be surprised. I know why Ten Hag would start him, but at the same time, he has shown some caution when it comes to players' fitness and his individual training programs he keeps speaking about. For me, you can always make a substitution. Give Sancho, let him. I don't want to say hang himself. That's not the appropriate thing to say. But give him that rope there. Let's see what he can do. If he don't perform, just take him off again like you did last time. I don't have a problem with that. Rashford, by the way, has been doing well in a striker. Well, I don't want to say well. He's been performing at a decent level in a striker's position. We have a problem with stretching the pitch. Yeah. Everton are not just going to concede a low block to us. They're going to set up in a mid block. People don't talk about mid block enough. That's how most teams in the Premier League set up. They set up in a mid block, and if you're good with the ball, then you can force them into a low block. But in those little transitions, you want Rashford stretching the pitch from a central position, in my opinion. That would be my preference tomorrow. We know who's going to start on the right thing. I don't think there'll be any debate there. And if Sancho has another stinker, just take it, just sub him. I don't think he needs to be dropped at the moment because he's had some good moments. He's had some good, like, how many bad games has Sancho had this season? How many?
Yeah. You know what? I'm surprised, I'm surprised that you've come out there considering the fact that people have been calling for a more, they want more from Sancho. I've said
they want pace and power, which he's not. They want pace and power, Sancho. That he's not a pace and power player. That's not what he is. And don't get me wrong, I thought he was our worst attacker against City. And I think he has gotten a pass from a lot of fans. But the way the front line's been working and Martial's fitness issues, if Martial was just fit, then I wouldn't have a... But yeah, man, I'd be a little bit cautious with Martial.
Sancho's only in because Martial's not fit, Danny. If Martial's fully fit, you put him up front. Martial up front, Rashford on the left, Anthony on the right, or is it a thing where you would still...
I'm going to say this. I didn't get a chance to say this before. I don't think there's a perfect 11. Right. I see problems with lots of players. I see balance. There'll be a game where I was saying this earlier. If we're playing Nottingham Forest, I want Ronaldo to start. How about that? I want Ronaldo against Forest because it might take just a bog standard cross in the head of the score. Depends who we're playing. I don't think there's not a perfect team for Ten Hag. These ain't 22 Ten Hag players.
Post. I'm sorry, Danny, but crossing the ball in and him headering, he would still hit the post.
Possibly, but profile-wise, for that type of team, that's what I'm running with. And fitness-wise, I'm looking at Martial. Would I like him to start tomorrow? Yes. Am I confident he's going to see out the game and not pull up his hamstring? I'm concerned about that. I have to be honest. That's my only concern with Martial.
Well, any problems that people think that Sancho is dealing with right now? Let's go with Marcel first. What's been the problem for you that you think Sancho's not providing for this team right now?
It's not that he has a problem. It's just that his style of game is about wrong-footing players and making the defenders make a mistake more than putting it past the defender and trying to be productive in terms of getting to the byline and putting in crosses. His game's a bit more deceptive, whereas we're used to traditional wingers, Valencia, Ryan Giggs, Nani, these players.
Yeah. It's a culture shock, man.
Yeah. So that's all it is right now, under Ten Hag. And I still think I'm still deliberating on whether it's a tactic from Ten Hag, whether he just wants players to pass back and recycle it through the middle thirds of the pitch and the forward line and go back. And because he was complaining about that during pre-season, he was saying, look, just start again, go back. Start again, and we'll work and be comfortable in possession.
There was that training session. Yeah. Don't cross hair. Yeah. Recycle the ball. We saw that. Good point.
Yeah. So little things like that, I think, because we see it. Scholes was mentioned about Anthony always having to go back or cut inside. This, I think, might be something that Ten Hag wants. He wants our team to be comfortable in their against the low block. Passing it and waiting for the moment to happen for us to play clever passes. So. I don't know. I think he does need to be a little bit more direct, but he hasn't been terrible. He scored goals this season. He has scored goals this season, and he's played well in a few games. So I just think right now, Rashford's directness just screams something that Man United want right now. Players to get beyond players to take on take on opponents. So he's not doing a lot of that at the moment. He does start poorly. I have seen him start poorly in other seasons and build up through the season goes on. So hopefully you can improve, but this is competition for places, Said.
Yeah, facts.
United, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Teddy Sheringham, all bags, man. So it's good that we've got a little bit of a headache in terms of competition, and like Danny said, Ronaldo's even in the mix as well that can come in and contribute. Sancho, if he doesn't start, hopefully can come on and contribute. So I don't think it's bad. I think the other three players that I would choose are in better form right now, especially goal scoring form.
What do you think is that, man, in terms of Sancho at the minute?
You bench him. It's as simple as that. If Martial can play 60 minutes, you play Martial. Like with Sancho, like I get people can say Sancho's this type of player, whatever. There's a lack of intensity in his game. He's not really aggressive enough in terms of taking his man on. I think even defensively, I don't think he helps out enough. But saying that, I don't think Rashford does either. I have a problem with it, kind of thing. And people can say, yeah, Sancho's good at this. When have we really seen it this season? His composure in front of goal, fair play. I give it to Sancho, brilliant. Probably has some of the best composure in front of goal in our entire team. But we just need more. Like we can't keep having excuses for Sancho now. £72 million second season. Like people keep saying, like someone said it before, like Sancho just plays in one game. There's literally just nothing to his game if he's not, like I wouldn't say not doing well, but it's just nothing kind of thing right now. And that's it. And we saw Rashford, the goal that he scored the other day, Sancho don't score that. Sancho passes it back to Eriksen, I think it was. Rashford's just a lot more aggressive, and if he's fit, he plays. Like Martial.
I think it's one of them. I think the front three or the front four, they're not going to be consistent all season. I just think right now, maybe Sancho's the guy that everyone's kind of, the one that, not scapegoat, but I think that's a harsh word. I think maybe he's the one that now is the one to kind of be out of the team. Then it'll be Rashford. I just don't think we have a consistent front three who will be able to do it the whole season. I hope it is, but I've just got a feeling that we'll have bad form from this for a couple of weeks, and then you'll have this. But then that's what Marcel says. This is why you need a team. This is why you need a front four, Faz, that we could rely on. You know what I mean? But Rashford, Anthony, and Martial would be my front three tomorrow. What is that? Is that you as well, Faz?
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna come back to Sancho because I want to say something on him, but I'll say Anthony Dos Santos. I like to call him Joga Bonito because there's too many Anthonys in our squad and people get confused. Joga Bonito, he's been relentlessly trying that left foot thing against Omonia. I like that. You can call him Diet Joga Bonito. I'm hearing all of this stuff, whatever. But you know what I like? I like a player who constantly keeps trying to be a man. And this is not me having a dig at Sancho, by the way, because Sancho different, Anthony Joga Bonito is different, two different, fair. But I'm saying what he tried to do, I enjoyed looking at that. I enjoyed him being relentless. I enjoyed him keep trying to be a man, keep trying to curl that ball past that keeper. And I need him to do more of that. I don't need you to have perfect, six dribbles, tried 6 dribbles, completed 6 dribbles, went past the man this many times. I like players who stay resilient and keep attacking. And that's what I see from Anthony. So I perfectly like that. With Martial, just exactly Danny said, I'm not Martial FC just yet. I love what he's doing. He just needs to stay fit, managed, and keep doing that. And Rashford, obviously, he'll take a lot from that goal that he scored as well. It was a terrific goal against Omonia, and he's been looking sharp. He's getting there. Whether you like it or not, he's getting there. And he clearly said he wants to enjoy football with Martial. So he's got his boy back now. So we'll see how them two cook. But in terms of Sancho, there's 500 odd people in this stream. And there's a beautiful, smart panel. I want to ask everyone, and please comment down below. When you look at Sancho, can you deep down ask yourself that he is a problem solver? If Man United are in a problem in a game, can Jadon Sancho take the game, take a deep breath, and solve a problem for you? Can you have faith in Jadon Sancho? Forget his goals. No. Forget the 3 goals he scored, because last season he scored 3 goals by February. This season he scored 3 goals already. Forget all that. When you look at Jadon Sancho, do you have faith? When you look at Jadon Sancho, because we have faith when we look at Martial, whether he's fit or not.
My apologies, Faz. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Why are we taking goals out of the equation?
I want to concentrate on the player solely as he is, without the goals. Even imagine yourself at the start of the season, just as a player, just as a brand new, as a player, as a package, as a product. Can he solve problems for you?
Don't go so far.
In all honesty, to me, I don't think he can solve that problem for you.
So Faz, are you saying can Sancho provide that moment of individual brilliance? Is that actually what you're asking? Is it individual brilliance question?
Individual. You may word it as individual.
Have I interpreted that correctly?
You may also, But you may also word it as, can Sancho, in a difficult situation, bring others into the game and dig others out of trouble? Can he be that person? It can go yin and yang, because people may blame him for putting Malacia in trouble. But I've got my own thing that Malacia should have known better. But he could have also taken the defender to the sideline and maybe tried to beat him, or maybe tried to collect a foul, or maybe tried to pass the ball forward. There's loads of different situations, but the fundamental is, can he solve a problem? If Ten Hag is looking at him, even if he's holding bench, can he say to himself, Sancho, son, I've got a problem. It's 1-1. Go in there and solve a problem. Bring someone into the game. Bring Martial into the game. Bring Anthony. Bring Bruno into the game. Bring Eriksen into the game.
So, Paz, I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer and give you an example. Difficult game, 0-0, Southampton. Sancho, because he's versatile, comes off the wing, receives the ball in the 10 position, plays in Dalot, who crosses the ball for Bruno Fernandes for that brilliant goal against Southampton. So yes, Sancho can be a problem solver, but I suspect you're talking about a direct player who carries the football, beats 2 or 3 men and puts it in the top corner. If that's what you mean, because everyone can have their own interpretation, no. But if you're talking subtle, or to quote Marcel, deceptive influence, like we saw against Southampton, I would say yes.
I think, Danny, listen, I appreciate your answer, and what you're saying isn't false, and you're right. In the Southampton game, very crucial. But
it's what you like, Faz. If you prefer a man to grab the game, like grab it, direct to you, don't pass to nobody, then he's not that guy.
Well, that's we're talking Neymar FC. That's Messi FC and all of them.
But well, that's Bruno. That's Rashford.
Crucial thing to point on. You said he received the ball in a 10 position. He ain't received the ball on the wing like he had it against Omonia and then passed it to Malacia in a 10 position. There needs to be a conversation to be had. That's why the reason I want him to be benched is to go and reassess his game with Ten Hag and really understand what can he bring, because he has attributes to bring off the ball running, holding the ball and bringing players into game. He has attributes that he can bring, but he needs to assess this with Ten Hag whilst he's holding on for a little bit. Whilst he's holding on the bench a little bit. Because fundamentally, Danny, whether we like it or not, he's one of the youngest and one of the highest paid players in the league. And there is a level of expectation I have for him, whether we want to agree or not. He's very well paid and needs to start showing it.
Real quick, see that final point you made about reassessing from the bench? I just want to say I agree with that point, because I feel that way about Malacia. Sometimes when a coach is telling you you're making these mistakes, if he keeps you in the team, you can't really assess, take a step back. Sometimes sitting from the bench, that's when you need to assess things. Only thing is, though, Jadon Sancho, you cost £73 million, my brother. Man got big expectations. You stay in the kitchen where the fire is, please. That's just, I know it's different rules for different, that's just how I see Sancho. Malacia are more protective. Let me just keep him over there because I want to protect him a bit. I'm not trying to protect Sancho one bit. Sink or swim. That's how I feel about it.
No, absolutely. By the way, is Varane out or is he back into the team? What does anyone know the latest with Varane?
He's back in training.
Individual training program.
No, I think he's training with the
back in training.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him.
Oh, it's back in training. Okay, then. So hopefully we'd assume that he's back into the back line.
Yo, man, I need to dip. Big up to all of you guys. I've enjoyed the stream. It's been a minute. Catch you again soon.
No worries, man. I'm just gonna get the team news. Big up to Danny for coming on. Let's pick our team for tomorrow, and then we can get our predictions in as well. Get the likes up, people. Make sure you are hitting the likes up on the video. Right, I'm presuming David De Gea in goal.
Unfortunately,
Dalot right back. There isn't much competition for him at the minute. I don't know what's happening with not Twanzebe. Wan-Bissaka, is he still out injured?
I think he is, isn't it?
Wan-Bissaka is on somewhat like injured / compassionate leave, isn't he? Because of that family issue.
Hey?
Who is that? Wan-Bissaka, did you say?
Yeah,
Wan-Bissaka. Sorry, Wan-Bissaka.
Bissaka's, if I'm not mistaken, he's on discretionary leave because of some family issue. No, plus
I think Ten Hag said he's injured over there.
Okay,
he's injured. And then what about that post that he lost a family member or someone?
Yeah, that was time ago though. Now.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Honestly, we have to find out what's going on there. Let's assume that Varane is available. Let's assume that he is available. Sandro Martinez keeps his spot as always. Are we unanimous in Shaw at left back then?
Yeah, we have to be, I think. Surely.
Yeah.
Wait, if Varane is available, surely we're not going to risk him straight away, are we?
I don't know,
And
man.
I'd rather
I
just give
agree with
Lindelof
you,
a day.
I agree with you, Baines, bro. I think it would be Lindelof. If even if Varane's available, I don't think you'll risk him.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's willing to take that risk right now.
Yeah, to be fair.
Like the
you're
other
not,
day,
man.
we had 2 fit centre backs. That's it.
Yeah, cool. Right, what would you go for in this pairing? I think for me, Casemiro and Ericsson. No, actually, Casemiro and Fred I would go for. What are you guys saying?
It's a good shout, Side. I think it's got to be Casemiro or Scott or Casemiro or Fred. I do think Ericsson takes a rest this game. I honestly do think that. But, I agree with everyone's points in saying that, Ten Hag is quite adamant in his squad and his 11, his starting 11. He's very hard. He's very stubborn in his selection process. So it might be the exact same midfield that we all know. But if it's anyone that should be, I think it has to be Scott and Casemiro. I would do that and then put Bruno up there as the 10.
Everyone agree with that one or anyone disagree?
I think he goes with McTominay and Ericsson.
So a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
The only
Let's-
reason I
let's-
say that,
I
with
won't be
the
surprised.
Casemiro McTominay thing, I've always said it. Like Ten Hag clearly wants Ericsson for the ball progression deep in it. No one else in that team could do that. Like if we had like a similar profile, then I'm like, yeah, fair play. Then you can kind of drop him, kind of thing, innit? But when you have no one else, like I think Ten Hag will just stick with it.
Yeah. Okay, then Bruno keeps his position.
Yeah.
And then we go with Will Rashford on the left. Anthony.
Do you guys think he plays Martial though up front, even though he does look like he's just coming back into the full
I
fitness?
think he does. I think
he does because did the manager not say against the Omonia game that we need Martial fit for the future games and this is the perfect game to give him plenty of minutes to get him up and running for match fit? He said that in the pre-match conference, no? He said something along those lines, anyways.
Listen, regardless of what he did say, bro, if he does start him, I would be worried about obviously his fitness the whole game. But I think you're right, man. We need that team looks very good. And we need Martial to be, the figurehead at that, and then the front man, because the link-up play, the way he's been playing, the goal-scoring form, he's the one that's going to score for us against Everton. So we need him up front. There.
Yeah, it's perspective, innit, man? Perspective about in terms of now you've got actually a player who is going to be playing. We've got a glue up top at least. Bay says here we'll never be a top team with Bruno as a number 10. Strong words there from
all I'm gonna say with the Bruno thing, and I'm not defending him here, but if you're playing Ericsson deeper, you have no other alternatives to Bruno in the 10.
Well, there you go.
Like
no
if Johnny Van der
alternatives,
Beek was fit, then you can have a conversation, but no one can list me another option other than moving Ericsson away from the deep role.
We sold we let go Matter or Jesse Lingard, never really replaced them when he actually deep it, man. You know what I mean? In that attacking midfielder role. But then again, Donny was meant to be that kind of player to kind of take over in the long run. But it happened. It is what it is. Right, let's go with predictions then. I'm going to go for 2-1 United. Statman, give me your predictions.
1-0 United.
1-0 United. Okay. Faz, what are you going for?
I think 2-1 United. Yeah, I see a 2-1 United.
Yeah. Marcel, what are you saying?
4-2 United. 4-2 United. High scoring game. Ebb and flowing game. Lots of goals. Obviously, we've conceded so many goals. We're going to concede, and what we're going to score, especially if it's the front three that we're saying, Rashford, Martial, and Anthony, we'll score 4 goals. I think 4-2 United. What I would say though quickly is Statman, if you get Zidane Iqbal in, maybe that's how you get Ericsson higher up the pitch. Obviously not now, and maybe towards the end of the season, or if he manages to get in and really, stamp his authority, but that's maybe how you get Ericsson up the pitch regularly.
I said that, but I'm just like...
I like Bruno. I like Bruno, guys. But if he has to get benched for the better of the team...
January, we need an 8, man. We need an 8 in January. We need a De Jong. We need I don't know, Lima. We need... who else is out there?
Get me Matthias from Wolverhampton, man. Oh,
Nunes,
my goodness. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Marcel's
see that
right
rub
with the
today?
Zidane Iqbal. Marcel's right, by the way, with the Zidane Iqbal thing, but Ten Hag just hasn't really played him out all, innit? Even in the Europa League, I don't think we've seen him so far.
Nope, we
Yeah,
haven't
why do
seen
you
him. We
think
haven't
that
seen
is?
him.
He had an injury during training at one point. He picked up an injury, I think he has. But why do you think that is? Why is it just because he just can't trust this 11 right now, guys? And you know, it's been difficult for him to really.
He's
you know,
stubborn, man. Ten
Yeah,
Hag's
but I've
stubborn. He
always said
likes
this.
his own way.
I've always said this here with United. Like, if you're a young player coming through at United right now, it's probably the worst possible time. Like, we have probably one of the most like toxic environments that we've had under Ralph. Ten Hag's still trying to rectify that. Of course, you're going to go with the more senior players. And listen, Zidane Iqbal is still young. He played the other day against Barrow, I think, on Tuesday. Against what that those were against, like, proper men kind of thing, innit? So he's still getting minutes. Maybe not for the first team yet, but it will come.
Yeah.
And listen, we also lost against, what was it, Real Sociedad in Europa League. I'm guessing, say we win our next game and we're through or something, or the one after, then Zidane.
No. I think this is going down to the wire, man.
No, but say if
We
we're
have
through
to,
by
we
the
have to
last
top the
game,
group. Sorry. Yeah.
if we're through by the last game, I think Zidane Iqbal will play. I think Ten Hag will then give him a chance.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. But people, that has been your debate show today. Big up to everybody who's watched the show. Make sure you guys like the video, man. If you haven't liked the video already, now's your time to do so. Leave a like before we leave. Big up to Statman Bays. Make sure you go follow him on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you go follow Faz, Planet Faz. The link will be in the description for his channel. Twitter, Insta, Planet Faz. Make sure you go follow him. And then Marcel, you're on Twitter, man. You still need to jump on YouTube, man. What's going on, man? Jump on the YouTube, man.
I'm slow, man. I'm slow right now, but I'll hopefully next season or during January or something, I'll get to it, man.
Yeah, man. Big up to everybody, man. And then obviously tomorrow we'll be back for the watch along, people. 7 o'clock kickoff, man. What a weird time, man. Honestly, man. Yeah, man. It's gonna be crazy. Game finish at 9 o'clock and that. It's all mad in the dunya. But listen, it is what it is. I'll be back tomorrow for the watch along. I'll catch you there, people. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and peace.